right. Hey, everybody. This is episode 9 of the 30s Perspective. Woo,
woo, woo.
Yeah.
woo, woo. I am your girl, Sherelle Unique. We have B. Mike.
What's up?
We have Alicia Terrell.
Woo, woo. Hey, y'all.
Shout out to Los. Tonight's episode is entitled The Angry Black Woman. So we're going to discuss some of the stigmas of being a Black woman. But before we get to that, our icebreaker, and we'll keep this icebreaker brief because I know we can get deeper into it, and that might be an episode coming forward. But how do you feel about this Nick Cannon? Give us a brief answer. How do you feel about this Nick Cannon scandal, about him being fired? What's your thoughts? And if you need me to read the comment, what he said, I can. Let me know.
So I read it earlier, and because I was reading it with John, and I was like, did I miss the whole, did I miss it? Did I miss what was supposed to be so terrible about the comment? I understand, but I also understand that I know a lot of people that feel that way, that have that almost type of religion type thing. So me and him were talking about, we were just delving a little deeper into what he was saying and how it was he believes that Black people are the original Hebrews. So, and I'm like, okay, well, I know a lot of people that feel that way, but that's their religious belief. Who am I to say that they are wrong? And who is anybody else to say that their religious belief is wrong? Because I know people who are atheists, and can I take offense to that? I sure could, because I believe that there is a God, but I don't. That's their belief. But I think that he can fight it, honestly, because if that's his religious belief and that's what he believes, then I feel that, you terminated him on discrimination of religion. So that's my...
All right. Well, in terms of what he said, part of it, there is some scientific backing about, where man started and how migration happened and things. But overall, I think they're more upset about the verbiage he used, use a word like animalistic, and some of the words that he chose to use seemed aggressive. But overall, I do not think that, in comparison to some of the things that Viacom has broadcasted and supported in the past, that what Nick Cannon said was so out of pocket, so out of the box, so crazy. Oh my God! It wasn't so extra that, they're at a point where they're firing him from everything. They're pulling his show on out. They're fighting him on ownership. And
for it.
Yeah, I think it's too much. And then, from what I'm understanding, at least from Nick Cannon's narrative, is that when he attempted to reconcile privately about it, they shut him down. They stole the moment from him. And so they don't seem to be interested in, making peace with Nick Cannon about this at all, which to me is a bit ridiculous. So overall,
they were waiting for it.
Yeah, they were looking for a reason to pull Nick Cannon from the program.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I guess so. From what I understand from Nick Cannon, Viacom has been kind of unhappy with the Wild 'N Out as a show, because they've been trying to change everything. They've been trying to change the programming, change the style that Nick Cannon has built with it, and I guess they saw their opportunity to get him out of the way.
Change everything in what way? What's wrong with Wild 'N
Out? From what Nick Cannon has expressed, it's a bit too rough and raw for their taste.
Oh, all right. Okay, so I'm going to give a little bit of what he said. Um, so he said they had to be savages, and Mrs. Cannon said this before noting that he was referring to Jewish people, white people, and Europeans. The people that don't have melanin are a little less, Cannon said, claiming when they were sent to the mountains of
Caucus.
the sun started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear, they're acting out of low self-esteem, they're acting out of deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. They have to rob, steal, rape, kill in order to survive. So then these people that didn't have what we have, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people, they had to be savages. They're acting as animals, so they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages. That's what he said. I feel like I hope that Nick Cannon kind of already saw this coming, because when you are taking a stance such as he is, he's not fully assimilating in the way that these people would like him to, you run that risk. And in order for your message to go any further, you got to be willing to like die for it, or you got to be willing to like lose jobs for it. I kind of see this thing being spiritual in a sense for him, because it's time for him to kind of move on. He has other interests. He's like, he's doing a Dr. Sebi movie. He has other things that I think he has more to his purpose. And I see this as a transition into what he has going forward, which is going to be much bigger. Like, he's really into race relations. Those people don't want anything to do with that kind of stuff. So there was going to be a time, in my opinion, that he was going to have to choose. That's what I think.
All right, so then I guess I got a question with that. I wonder what he's going to move on to, because, it's rumored, and obviously it's true for at least Viacom, that a lot of people that are Jewish run media and entertainment conglomerates.
But I think he's moving on. I think he's moving on past that type of stuff. Like, there had to be a time where he, he's working on things that are bigger.
Okay.
I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah.
It's rough out here, because anymore, both black or white, no matter what you say, if it offends somebody, then you're on the chopping block. And he offended somebody that has, the power to make or break his career, in the sense of him being able to be a part of maybe a movie, or his movie being shown on their, network or anything. It's always been, that, who owns and does most of media, it's white. Like, we got Oprah, but Oprah's network isn't, as much as we love her network isn't one of the biggest. So it's hard, because this is the same thing that they were just fighting for with Comcast versus the HBCU network. So just a little background, like, I guess Comcast refused to add HBCU TV to their programming. So like all the black sports and like everything that they broadcast for all of those HBCU colleges and stuff like that and universities, they refused to put on TV. So it was a big thing back and forth. I haven't read up on it in the last couple of months of where it has been going, but it goes to like the media being controlled by one.
That's stupid.
People.
They already got 1,000 channels with 1,001. Like, who cares, yo?
So.
But then it makes me think of you ever had that job that you lost like back in the day? I don't know if any of y'all have ever been fired from a job. I have.
Yes.
that job that you got fired from or that you lost and then you're devastated, but then it ends up being like a blessing in disguise because you
Oh yeah.
and better.
It's like,
Oh man.
oh,
Yeah, like it's that release. So I just see him going off in cacan. Like
that weight that's been lifted.
Oh yeah. Yep. Being released to that, and at first you're like, all of this sucks. You're like, wait a minute, I'm free. Awesome.
I can do all the stuff I plan to do.
Oh man. All right. Yeah.
I ain't got no money, but I'm free.
So, all right, to our main topic. So, the angry Black woman. So, we want to discuss some of the stigma and some of the challenges that Black women face. I mean, we're not going to hit everything, so there's definitely going to be another part to this. But I have a couple things that are set aside for tonight's discussion. So, number one, what are some of the stigma? What's the stigma of Black women?
Loud, ghetto,
Angry, like we already mentioned.
all the time. Every time we say something, we're angry, sarcastic.
Yeah, bitchy.
Oh man, I can go on.
Are we just talking about bad stereotypes or all of them?
You can give a good one.
Oh,
That y'all can cook really well.
All right.
Hey, that's
you
one.
know what I'm saying?
That's one of them though.
That is one.
Y'all ain't putting raisins in the potato salad.
Yeah, but that's also like, even in the, workplace and stuff like that. Like I know like my mom will be like, "Oh, it's another meeting where I got to make my breakfast casserole cuz they ranting and raving about it, or her cookies." I'm like, "Well, mom, nobody told you to make it good." So,
You want to
Yeah.
shout out to her.
right. Them cookies be bomb.
Now, is that considered like? I think that's a double-edged sword about the cooking thing. Historically, black slaves were the ones cooking in the kitchens. I don't know if that's a double-edged sword for a good stereotype or not.
It can be. I think it just depends on the woman.
I think it's when it becomes a double-edged sword is when they classify all Black women as being good cooks, because I know some that don't know how to boil water. so, so I think that's where it becomes like the stereotyping. So
see, this is senior millennials. Remember when it was Flavor of Love, and they had them women on there, and they're supposed to cook something, and half of them couldn't get the meal done.
Go back and watch those shows. It is hilarious. It's so phony.
The one chick put a whole chicken in the microwave raw. That was so bad.
So, like another stereotype of Black women, troublemakers, I guess.
Shit starters.
Yeah. I mean, but if we go for positive, stylish, bold with their appearance, trying to think. Anything else we want to add on before I move on? Okay. So, number 2, are Black women the most degraded? And are they the bottom of the dating totem pole? What do you think?
I feel that we are. I feel that like when it comes to Black women, a lot of what I have noticed is like, with me growing up in like even like an all white neighborhood and everything as such, like I feel that it comes off more like, oh, I didn't know you was that cool to talk to. And it's like, bro, like you can have a conversation with me. Like I didn't know it was that hard to sit and talk to me. Like I'm a regular female. I like regular things. Like I don't understand, but like I got that. I got that a lot. I got, that, we are not approachable in that sense to even date. And then like, when they date us, when some people did, oh, I'm so sick of you being loud and always ghetto. I'm like, come on, bro. We're not all like that.
Are some of the most degraded. I definitely think we're at the bottom of the dating totem pole, especially darker complected black women for sure. And it's actually a hurt piece. I will say, it's actually a hurt piece.
Right.
There's definitely a lot of just pre-assumptions before you even get to meet the person. Like you said, like I assume that you would be this way or that way. But we're not a monolith. Like we're different. Each one of us is different. And yes, there is some ghetto loud ones. I won't lie.
So, all right. So the question now: the ghetto loud ones, do they make you angry?
Do they make me angry? Sometimes. I won't lie. Sometimes they do. I think what bothers me is when there's no balance. So can I get ghetto and loud? I absolutely can. It takes a long time for me to go there, but she's in there. So I think my problem is when there's no balance. Like I'm not seeing anything else from you. What else do you have to offer? Like what else is there? Can you exist? Because there's different cultures. Like can you exist in a work professional world? Can you exist in like a religious spiritual environment? Can you like where can you shouldn't just be one way. So I think that's what bothers me.
I look at it as it's not so much balance, but there's a time and place for everything. And I feel that like sometimes a lot of things aren't warranted in that sense and they come off to be. So like, for instance, like, there's a time and place to let that other side of you come out, and she's warranted to come out and tell everybody about themselves. But then there's a time and place to be professional and understanding that you're upset and mad, but there is a time and place to be professional. And I've dealt with some very rude, ignorant people in the workplace that got that other side a couple times.
All right. What do you feel about corporate America weaponizing black women's stereotypical attitudes for their own gains? All right. I don't know if does that make sense what I'm asking?
No, but I want you to, it does, but I want you to break it down to exactly what you mean.
Okay. And it was kind of, I've already was aware that this was kind of happening, but I watched the episode of Mixed Dish, and they were talking about the fact that, yeah, the black woman was just as qualified to work at the law firm as, her white male counterparts and stuff, but her role in the firm was to be the angry black person against other lawyers to get them to be intimidated and back down so they could win cases. And in that episode, she didn't want to play into that stereotype once she realized what was going on. And so she backed that down. And like her boss was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to go in there and get them. You're supposed to, like, what are you doing? Like, you're not,
fight because you've taken us into our third subtopic.
All right. I wasn't even looking at that. I was just responding to what y'all were talking about. And it just came in about weaponizing the stereotype of angry, aggressive black women. So I wanted to get y'all thoughts on that.
We'll come back to number 2 and we'll
go to
3. Since you brought us there. And what are you asking us about that?
I mean, what are y'all thoughts on that one?
I think that is definitely a thing. Where we have to be in order to be taken seriously in the work world, we have to be the bitchy one who's gonna set it straight all the time. And I think it's unfair to expect that from every Black woman. It's like I said, we're not a monolith.
Right. They're expecting it. So like so I have dealt with this personally in a workplace. This is actually the job that I was fired from, and it was such an awe and relief when I left there, because it was so hard trying to balance between like work, being mistreated as a Black woman, and making sure that I'm doing my job appropriately, and still trying to put on the right stereotype as a Black woman that wasn't too much. So I was working for the hospital. I was working at one of the Suboxone clinics at Allegheny General, and there was a woman there, and her name was Annette. Shout out to Annette. But anyways, so Annette did not like me. She looked for every reason, first off, to get rid of me, and second off, to perpetuate this narrative of what a Black woman is. I don't know if she was, I don't know, I don't want to say intimidated by me, but she was definitely like, when it came to anything, like, she didn't like that I questioned her. I wasn't just, oh yes, and that I'll do that. Or I wasn't scared of her. I was not afraid to challenge her, in the sense of, not like, but work-wise, I want to know why we're doing the things that we're doing. I want to know why you want to do it this way when everybody else in the group agrees to do it this way. So anyways, long story short, there was an incident between me and the one nurse practitioner. Now, she had had an issue with something that I did, but instead of her coming to me and saying something to me, she went straight to my boss, which is Annette. So I simply just put a post on Facebook, never saying that I work for Allegheny General. Nobody knew I worked there. I never mentioned the woman's name. I never mentioned anything as such. All I said is that if you have a problem with something that I'm doing, come to me as a woman instead of going to my boss like we are in grade school. She didn't like that. So I got called into the office. Huh?
Friends with you on Facebook?
She was, the nurse practitioner was. So she knew exactly what I was talking about, because she's the one that reported me. Because she didn't like something that I was doing. So she reported me. So my boss is, like, we call her the little minion. The minion came to me and she was like, hey, I have to write you up because you put a Facebook post about somebody. And I said, excuse me? Like, just all out, like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. So, I know what I put on there, but you don't know, because it doesn't mention anybody.
Why do you know what I put on there? Like,
exactly.
Why are you going as far as screenshotting on my page to go and tell?
Oh, sending it. So I went to the woman afterwards and I said to her, her name was Danielle, and I said, Danielle, I said, woman to woman, she was a white woman. I said, woman to woman. I said, if you ever have a problem or issue with anything that I am doing, please come to me. I said, I'm a very approachable person. Just say something like, hey, I don't like that you did that. And we could have a conversation just like we're doing now. So she took that back to my boss again and said that I was intimidating her, and she felt like she couldn't go to the boss in confidence because I knew that it was her that brought it forth. So Annette pulls me into the office and she goes, I am just appalled at that you think that you can go around intimidating people the way that you did after you were giving after a conversation was given to you about a Facebook post. She said, I'm going to pull HR in because I can't believe that you would write something like that on Facebook. And I said, and she was like, and then on top of that, you deleted your Facebook after that. I said, I have every right to do whatever I want with my Facebook. And I said, it's not deleted. I said, it's just private and you cannot find it. But they made me feel that like, just because, and like there's other things that have happened. I was the only Black woman in there besides the one lady, but she wasn't a part of our cohort. So like you made me feel some type of way for expressing myself, like I'm angry and I'm intimidating, and I'm like, those are all. And like when I came into the office with the HR people, I told them, I said, you guys are perpetuating a stereotype of angry Black woman in the office. I said, because there has been many people here that have had the same issues and you guys have done nothing about it. So it was such a relief to leave there and dealing with the situation, because it just got blown out of proportion, and the words that they were using, intimidating, and I was like, I didn't even feel like I intimidated nobody by having a conversation with them. Like, I don't know.
Listen,
Shout out to Annette.
I find myself like trying to make sure that I'm balancing out. Like I'm using all my other skills first so that I don't have to go to that place. Because like I said, I got her in there. She has a name. Her name is Uniqua. Yeah, her name is Uniqua. She's in there. But I try to make sure, especially like when it comes to work and interacting with certain individuals, making sure that I'm utilizing my other conflict resolution skills as opposed to going the aggressive route. So I do pay attention to that because oftentimes we are labeled as just being a diva, a bitch, or whatever. So now I do feel like sometimes it is necessary because that was what the question, what my on my end, what the question was. In order to be taken more seriously at work as a boss, um, sometimes you have to be a little more assertive to get your point across because people won't take you seriously. They think they can walk all over you. You will say something one time and it's as if you never said it. You have to say it twice in order for them to hear you, or with more aggression in order for them to hear you. That kind of a thing. So it's a balancing act. Seriously.
Yep. And if you go ahead, Brandon.
Brandon, have you witnessed any of this? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I've witnessed it. I definitely want to say that I do not like how Black women are treated in the workplace, especially when I see ones that work quadruple as hard just to get a little bit of recognition or even get a promotion. Because what I've witnessed in my own is when a black black female worker is given manager responsibilities, including having to monitor their own manager and follow up behind them, and they don't get the pay, they don't get the position, and they're expected as part of their regular duties to do all this extra manager level stuff, but they're still at the bottom. And I don't like it.
I can relate.
Pineapples, I don't like it.
Pineapples. Yeah.
Any final thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just want to say that, like, I also don't like, sometimes the wording that they use towards us. Oh, like, we're being insubordinate, or, we're being combative. Like, it's like argumentative. Like, it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, you use these type of words, and like when it comes to us, like just speaking up for ourselves in the workplace, like that's, and it's like, what are you talking about? Like, I just wanted an extra day off. Like, and I was just asking why I can't have my extra day off, and you're saying that I'm being combative. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I agree. All right, back to point two. So one of the things that I wanted to bring out was the 50 Cent comment on Lil Wayne's podcast. So for those who don't know, I'll read a little bit of what he had to say. He said, and I look and I go,